with the federal government. We will get the money we need, and I will send the National Guard to the state of California to the border if that's necessary. But it has to start before we've got to hold employers accountable for hiring only documented workers. Illegal immigration. Thank you. Illegal immigration is just that. It's illegal. And employers are not allowed to hire undocumented workers in the United States. We have to hold them accountable. And I'm in favor of a 3 strikes and you're out. You know, we'll do workplace inspections. If your company is hiring undocumented workers 3 times, you'll lose your license and you'll pay a fine. And this, I think, will actually set a standard and will also encourage illegal immigrants to go home. So you've seen what's happened in the recession. As the hospitality industry contracted, as the construction industry contracted, many illegal immigrants went home because the jobs were not here. So that's the second part of my plan. And the third part of my plan is we have to eliminate sanctuary cities. And the most egregious case is, of course, San Francisco, south of here. So I believe if we do those 4 things, communicate no amnesty, secure the border, hold employers accountable, and eliminate sanctuary cities, we can get our arms around this problem. And it is absolutely essential because the costs are enormous. I don't know if you know, but 30% of the state prisoners are probably illegal immigrants. We don't get reimbursed for those monies, and it's putting a burden on every element of the state budget. So that's the plan. Yep.
Government spending. I'd like to ask you a question. $23 million of our state tax dollars are spent each year to subsidize the abortion industry through Medi-Cal reimbursement, to destroy the lives of 80,000 unborn Californians and hurting women for a lifetime. Therefore, I'm asking you, since the Republican Party strongly supports life, do you support the continued taxpayer funding of abortion here in California?
So let me tell you where I stand on abortion, and I have a tremendous respect for your point of view on this. And this is not an easy decision, I don't think, for any Californian or any American. But I am pro-choice, but not at without any restrictions. I'm against partial birth abortion, I'm against late-term abortion, and I voted for the Parental Notification Act. I'm a mother. I actually would want to know. So I am not for federally funded taxpayers' abortion beyond the Hyde Amendment, which is, of course, the life of the mother. But I also know that in California, we've made a decision over many years to use some monies for taxpayer-funded abortions. And the truth is, I'm a big believer in the 10th Amendment, which is states' rights. And states need to decide how they want to handle this. And this has been part of the landscape in California politics for many years. So that's where I am on that. And I respect your position tremendously. I understand it. And the thing that you should know, I think, that has gone unnoticed in many ways is my opponent in this race is far more liberal on abortion than I am. He had a 100% approval from Planned Parenthood when he ran for the Assembly in 2004. What that means is you have to be for partial birth abortion, you have to be against parental notification, and you actually have to be for taxpayer-funded abortions across the board. So probably neither of us are perfect to your point of view, but I am, I think, far more conservative on that issue than my opponent. So thanks for asking. Yeah. I'm making it hard for our runners. Hi.
I'm a registered nurse here in California, and our union at our hospital is preaching that you don't believe in nursing ratios.
In what now?
Nursing ratios.
Oh, nursing ratios. Okay.
So that's my big question. That's why I came today, actually, because
Okay.
I'm kind of on the fence.
Yeah.
And that would be like a deciding factor.
Yeah. So I haven't actually said anything about nursing ratios. You know, my husband's a doctor, and he appreciates nurses tremendously. He cannot be the neurosurgeon he is without the OR nurses, the intensive care nurses, the general ward nurses. So I think certainly, you know, with regard to the state, every group of individuals and state employees, we need to run as efficiently and effectively as we can. So I don't have a specific point of view on nurse ratios. What I know is nurses are absolutely essential to healthcare, and even more so in the last 10 years. Nurses have taken on more and more jobs that MDs used to do. So I have a tremendous respect for nurses. Don't have a particular point of view on nursing staffing. Maybe you can send me an email on that and I can look into that a little bit more. My view is everyone's going to try to have to figure out how can we run more efficiently at the state level. State employees, whether nurses or DMV workers, how do we do this more efficiently and effectively? But I will get back to you on the specific question of nursing staffing ratios. It's meg@megwhitman.com, by the way. Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
What can you do for the Central Valley farmers and the water situation?
Great question. Her question was, what can you do for the Central Valley farmers and the water situation? So this is a humanitarian crisis. I have been to the Central Valley 31 times, and when you see what has happened due to lack of water, we've lost 95,000 agricultural jobs. And the humanitarian crisis in places like Huron and Mendota, with 35 to 40% unemployment rates, will make your heart break. So what we've got to do is a two-part solution. One is the short term and then the long term. In the short term, we have to turn on the water to the Central Valley. It is simply not okay that the farmers are getting 10 or 20% of the allocation that they deserve. And sometimes you have to come down on the side of jobs and people. So if I'd been governor, I would have called up for the pumps to be turned on. We would have gotten sued. I don't know. Welcome to my life. Sometimes you have to stand up and make the right decision. Now, what do we do long term? So I have a four-part plan. First is we have to have more above and below ground storage, no question about it. We have got to catch the rainwater and the snow melt. Second, I believe we do have to have an alternative water conveyance system, otherwise known as a peripheral canal. And I know that's not entirely popular in the Delta area here, but the truth is we got to think like Californians. And we need more water for the Central Valley and frankly for Los Angeles and San Diego and Orange County. So the peripheral canal, I think, is an important part of the solve. Then everyone's got to do a better job on conservation. The farmers can do a better job. The city dwellers can do a better job. I think I might have it right. Sacramento just got water meters. Is that right? So if you don't measure it, you probably aren't going to be conserving it. And then lastly, once we do all that, I want to get more water back through the Delta for the sake of the Delta farmers and the ecological health of the Delta. So that's the plan. And you might be wondering, where am I on the water bill? So this is not a perfect bill by any stretch of the imagination. My view is there's $2 to $3 billion worth of excess spending that is embedded in that bill. But it was a hard-fought compromise on the legislature. And you know what? I come from the real world, where you actually have to get things done. And sometimes perfection is the enemy of progress. My view on this water bill, that we should go forward. I hope the voters of California will pass this water bill. And then, before it gets funded, I will take my blue line pencil, and there is absolutely the opportunity for the governor to streamline some of the costs out of this bill. I will do that so it is more affordable. But if we throw this up and say, you know what, we're not going to do it, we're just going to vote it down, you and I are going to be having the same conversation 5 years from now, 10 years from now. We won't have put farmers back to work. We will not own the greatest agricultural industry in the country, and I think we will be very sorry. I don't know if you know, but Fresno County is the #1 agricultural producing county in the entire United States of America. 9 out of the top 10 agricultural producing counties in America are right here in California. It's a $32 billion business that we must protect. And that's why I think we have to put the bickering aside. We've got to go forward. Perfection is the enemy of progress because we have to protect this industry.
I'm Tom Jennings, and I'm from Roseville, and I'm a Reagan Republican, and I love everything that you stand for, except I didn't feel like the response you had to Wynette was far enough. You said that states' rights were what you were concerned about, and it being Planned Parenthood. I'm not at all interested in the state funding Planned Parenthood. And I thought it was kind of a lame answer that you gave to her about the fact, states' rights and whatever. We need to stop the state from giving any money to Planned Parenthood. And what will you do to do that?
Yeah. So, as I said, I really respect your point of view on this. And but my view is, you know what? I am really running for governor of California on 3 things. And it's not that pro-life and pro-choice isn't important. But do you remember at the beginning I said you've got to focus on getting 3 things done? It's not that other things aren't